I am on a mission. Alright, first of all, I know you are all wondering, Daniel, why are you on a mission? And what are you making today? And I'll tell you what I'm making. I am making the majestic and moist New Year's honey cake, which is from a book called A Treasury of Jewish Holiday Baking. It's the 10th anniversary edition by Marcy Goldman. Wait, are you filming? The recipe we're making, as I told you before, is this majestic and moist New Year's honey cake. And depending on when you're watching this video, I'll tell you that when it's filmed, I am on a mission because the Jewish New Year of Rosh Hashanah is coming up. And we are going to a party, a Rosh Hashanah party that our friends the Lefflers are throwing. And I, Chef Daniel, have been tasked with making the best honey cake I can make. If you're not Jewish, you might be wondering, what is Rosh Hashanah? Well, I'll tell you. It's the Jewish New Year, and the reason you make a honey cake for it is and you eat it on Rosh Hashanah Eve. You eat it to make the new year sweet. So you eat sweet foods to make the next New Year sweet. And that's why I tell you, don't skimp on the honey. All right, first of all, here's what you're gonna need. Let's start with the pan. You can make it in almost any pan, but I recommend the bundt cake form. Now, onto ingredients. You will need some almonds, but that is optional. You will need 1 cup of warm coffee. You will need sugar, brown sugar, flour, salt, honey, cinnamon, allspice, vanilla extract, but we're using vanilla paste, ground cloves, baking powder, baking soda, some sort of whiskey or rye, orange juice, oil, and eggs. All right, so preheat the oven to 350 Fahrenheit. Okay, so the recipe states that we now have to, in a large bowl. Now, I'm gonna stop you there because we're using the bowl for our stand mixer so that then we can use all the ingredients and mix them there. But it says here, in a large bowl, whisk together the flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and spices. So after you've added all of those ingredients, you've got to make a well in the bowl and add the oil, honey, sugars, eggs, vanilla, coffee, orange juice, and rye or whiskey. 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. So now we're adding 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a half teaspoon of salt. There we go. I feel like this is gonna be a cinnamony cake. There are gonna be 4 not tablespoons, that would be really cinnamony. 4 teaspoons of cinnamon, which might not seem like a lot in the long run, but that's a lot of cinnamon. I'm putting in a half teaspoon of ground cloves. There we go. We're now adding a half teaspoon of ground allspice. You know what I've noticed is that the spices in this are a little bit similar to that you might put in a traditional gingerbread man. Just noticing that. Alright, now we're mixing it all together. If you might remember from one of my oldest videos, if you're an old subscriber, the banana bread video, it kind of looks like that, but a lot bigger. Right now, make a well in the center of your cake. Last time I made a well for something like this was actually when I was making pasta. Man, that was a while ago. A well is probably one of my favorite things to make. Also, do not use that, use your hands. Okay, so at the moment I'm smoothing down my walls. I mean, if you're an adult doing this might sound funny, but I always feel sometimes when I'm smoothing something down with a spoon or something that It's a little like building a sand castle, if you know what I mean. That kind of feeling of sand that comes from the flour. It's nice. Anywho, on to something more about cooking. We are now adding 1 cup each of vegetable oil and honey. I went to the store today, probably took me about 30 minutes to finally find honey, and I'm looking at all of them, and I'm seeing these huge jars of honey, right, like up to here on the counter. And I look at them, and I think, do we need this? And then I think, nah, this is good enough. Now I'm rethinking it a little. I don't really think I'll have enough for more than a day's parfait in here. Things for sure, they sure are right when they say this is a moist honey cake. Look at all the liquid going in. It's going down like a hagfish. If you don't know what a hagfish is, I mean that as a compliment. Now adding in 1.5 cups of white sugar. Right now you might notice that my well is getting a little bit tight for all of this new stuff coming in. Don't worry, trust me, it's not a big deal. So we are now adding in one half of a cup of brown sugar. That's turning into molasses that looks, look at this. Look at the different textures in this though. Look at this. This is almost like molasses-like. Probably tastes like molasses too. And this is more kind of, if you've ever had like a slushy or anything like that, kind of feels like that. And it looks like ice at point ideal. Now adding in the eggs. How many eggs, you say to me? And I respond with 3 eggs. Wow. I recommend when you're adding it in, I'll show you how I crack my egg. There's nothing in that, that's okay. You crack it off about right there, and you start adding the white, but then when the yolk is about to come out, you go, then you let it out. And then you've pierced the yolk with the sharpness of the egg shell, and that means that it won't be a big deal when you have to pierce the yolk. Like that. We are putting in everyone's favorite ingredient, the vanilla paste. Add in a cup of coffee. Now, I'll tell you a fun fact. Quick fun fact. We went to Costa Rica. These are fresh Brit Costa Rica coffee beans. And Costa Rica is famous for its coffee, among other things. It's also famous for Chiquita banana, but yeah. Anywho, let's add in the cup of coffee, thereabouts. I'm not a big coffee guy, but I think I'm gonna like it when it's in this form. So, I am now adding in 1/2 cup of freshly squeezed orange juice. So now we're adding in some whiskey. Now, in most recipes you might say this isn't the time for good 18-year-olds, like good whiskey, but I say yes it is. And so that's why I'm using this. Don't know how to pronounce that name, but I'm just gonna say that it's really good stuff and my dad says it's darn tootin' good. I don't know, but I'm gonna trust my dad's word on this. So let's add it in. By the way, 1/4 cup of this, okay? So now that we add that in, now I smell the aroma of this. It is strange. When you mix coffee with alcohol, it does not smell good. Now give this a smell. Oh yeah, I forgot, you're a camera. Wait. Okay, it's smoky, that's for sure. Now this, I want to do this because it's fun. Alright. We're gonna put it on slow and steady speed on the stand mixer. Alright, now, I think this looks good now. I'll tell you, the recipe says it's got to be a thick batter and make sure there's nothing at the bottom. Alright, so now we're finally ready to go on. First, the psych! Nope, we're not doing that yet. I'll tell you what we're doing. For one, I'm taking a small spoon and doing the traditional Chef Daniel. Time for a taste test. Now, I've seen the ingredients that went into this. They're strange, but I think they're gonna be very good altogether. Also, look at this. Right around, you want your batter to be around thick enough that you can kind of draw a circle in it without it immediately losing its form. But anywho, let's give this a taste test. Wow. Man, I have a lot to say about this. First thing I'm gonna say is that when you smell it, it just smells like banana bread, but it tastes so different. It's such a strange aroma, just a normal aroma, but then when you taste it, it's got so many notes. You can't really taste the orange juice though, I gotta say, but you can taste the coffee and the boldness, and then at the very end, you kind of go when you taste that little coffee, that little bit of whiskey. Especially because we added smoky whiskey. This is just incredible, but this is at the same time not at all your average cake. This is a must-have. Alright, so I'm pouring this in. Now, I'm going to tell you that I am a child, and children are fans of eating raw batters, and I am no different. But I will tell you that the one thing that I have tried quite a few times is honey cake, and I will say that from trying this batter and all that I've just said to you, I'm about to tell you that I think the baked result is even better. From what I've just said about that, I sure hope you're excited to try it now. Now, sprinkle the top of the cake with slivered almonds. Alright, now what I'm doing now is I'm placing our cake on 2 baking sheets stacked on top of one another, and I'm going to tell you why this is an important point. It is an important point because it helps the cake not burn. If you just have one baking sheet like this, oh no, my cake's going to burn. But with 2, it's not going to burn in a million years. Now I'm going to put my cake, I'm going to take my fabulous cake, and I'm going to put it in my fabulous oven. There we go. And I'm going to set a timer, like so, for 60 minutes. So now, we wait. So, I'm currently taking it out of the oven, and the thing that we need it to be is, when you touch it, it needs to be springy. It needs to be springy to the touch. Also, you might be wondering why we have aluminium foil on it. After 45 minutes, you should put aluminium foil on top. No, aluminium foil on top of the cake so the top does not burn. And it worked. Now, yep, that's springy all right. Now, let's take a toothpick and let's insert it right into the center right there, and came out clean. Now, let's let this baby cool, and then let's eat. So at the moment, I am sifting some powdered sugar on top of our cake. And you might think, oh, it's to make it look like it's snowing on top of it. Well, it's not. You know what it is? To make it look even sweeter. It is sweeter. Because, don't tell my mom this, even though she's filming this, but I ate a little bit of that powdered sugar. And it's sweet stuff. So I can definitely understand how this is going to be one sweet new year. Now, to eat! I think there's all that I need. My Mark Hotel plate, my fork and knife, but all that is all the more well, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn that around so we get a nice, just right amount of powdered sugar. By just right, I mean a pretty nice amount. Then you cut right there. You cut yourself into a beautiful slice. Now that's a nice looking cake, especially from the inside. Right, so I got a little chunk here. I'm gonna try it. So let's give this an old-fashioned Chef Daniel try. Now, a big old-fashioned Shana Tova to everyone out there, and a big congratulations if you made this cake. Now, this is Chef Daniel signing off. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it.